That's not true, is it? You were pressured.
Yes, I was pressured.
In fact, you were pressured into signing a document that claims that you're entering the agreement without pressure.
Yes. And do you remember District Attorney Love telling you that she would prefer if you don't state to the jury that Jeffrey told you to take Mr. Copeland to the police department if he was not involved in the murder? Yes.
Day 124 of the Young Thug YSL RICO trial was intense. Defense lawyers cross-examined Mounk Tounk on his plea deal and timeline of events. And I'm pretty sure Mounk Tounk violates his plea agreement, which could get him put back in prison. Yeah, the state didn't really achieve much on direct, and then defense lawyers come in and dismantle everything. They go through his plea agreement, and he pretty much says a lot of it is just not true or wrong. And then Brian Steele points out that video of Thug saying people that snitch should get killed. The date was wrong that the state has been showing in the indictment. That's huge. So stick around for that. Hit subscribe, join the channel membership. Let's go, boys. First look at Thug on day 124. The brown suit today. Miss Love's talking about some jail call of Antonio Sledge, talking about, I think, Woody or Quindarius Zachary snitching with a girl on the jail call.
And Sledge says, man, he told on that boy, man. The young person with whom he is speaking says, he said 2 people wrote a statement on you. She's talking about the detective, I believe, and the girl says Woody, and Mr. Sledge says nobody wrote a statement on me, and the girl says one witness saw you there. It's the number 2 witness, and Woody and Lil D never said nothing about me. They said it about Shannon. That's why they dismissed it. And what he is saying on the stand now is wholly different than what he said when he took his plea back in 2022. He put it together because that witness that they did not name was buying guns for people within YSL. Quindarius Zachary, we all know, is the one who was straw purchasing for them. And in fact, he was sentenced federally for straw purchasing. He was the one that purchased the gun.
Respectfully, I'm lost. Putting things together from what was said at a prelim, that was said about my client, all of that it's preposterous to me that the state would be attempting to get into any of this. And this seems to be becoming very complicated for something that should be very simple. There's no putting it together. There's no, I realize Lil D told. There's none of that because I'm putting everyone on notice right now. I don't know what Mr. Zachary's going to do. But if there is elicited testimony about my client, stuff about what Mr. Zachary said about my client or to the police or at my client's prelim or at a prelim in general, I am moving for a mistrial. I am of the opinion that the state will have goaded me. I'm putting them on notice. Don't do that. They're trying to backdoor testimony because they don't know if Mr. Zachary's going to testify or not. I don't know why we're getting into, I figured out he was the witness. This is what he said. This is what he said about me. This is what he said about Shannon. He must have known these details. Why are we doing this?
Every defendant knows that the state has a good faith basis for putting forth the knowledge that Mr. Sledge had regarding what Mr. Zachary said. Mr. Schart's words to the court seem to suggest that for some reason he believes Mr. Zachary, we won't be able to procure him. He's under subpoena. They know that he is, and we have served him, and we have every intention that he will be here. He's not. He's out of the hospital, I'll put it that way. Mr. Sledge doesn't say Zachary lied. Mr. Sledge was there. Mr. Sledge has actually said he was there. Mr. Sledge is the one that gave the state, and unfortunately we may have to impeach him on that with other evidence. He's the one that gave us the statement. We met up and Thug gave us money to lay low.
And I don't know why the part about guns is relevant if you are telling me that he essentially says, I know that's Little D because of what he said about us meeting up that only he could have said. That's the part I'd like to hear. And that's the part that might be admissible as a prior inconsistent statement.
So it sounds like the state is trying to get as much of this phone call in as possible where Sledge is talking about Quindarius Zachary. And the defense obviously doesn't like this.
After that got killed, all of us met up together and went down all black. That's how you know it's D.
That's how we know it's D, because he gave up certain information apparently.
So the old boy's house that we believe he is talking about is Jeffrey Williams' house. That is the only house that he has testified that.
Why is my client's name coming up in that conversation? There's no inconsistent statement. Lead to admissibility.
He's saying Shannon's name shouldn't be brought in this phone call because it's not a prior inconsistent statement about Shannon, and that's how they're getting it in.
I don't have a transcript, but what I heard that little snippet to say is Little D, and of course we have 2 Little Ds, was saying things at the condo and putting Shannon there, meaning, and he also references Nard, who's Demise McMullen, there being the murder scene.
There being the murder scene?
Yes.
Honest to God, a transcript would really help because it's hard to tell what everybody's saying.
If we don't know what anyone's saying, we need a transcript, state. Like, what is the state doing? Why don't they have a transcript ready?
We have not a formal transcript. We have what is being talked about in timestamp form that we can give to the court.
Okay, so is it your understanding that they're talking about the murder scene or they're talking about the condo right there, what we just heard?
They were talking about the condo when he said that they met up at old boy's house.
All right, if we don't even know what's being said, then
we
I
do
don't
know
know.
mistrial waiting, Your Honor.
This is a mistrial waiting to happen.
Your Honor, if I may.
Mr. Schardt said it's a mistrial waiting to happen, and she said something in response.
This is a mistrial waiting to happen.
Your Honor, if I may.
Particularly?
I know it's Lil D because he told the police about us all meeting up at old boy's house. after Nut got killed. Nobody is trying to put in anything about the murder scene. Nobody is trying to put in anything about that.
Well, it should be more clear because the fucking jury might think it's talking about the murder scene. 60% of you aren't subscribed. What the fuck? Hit subscribe.
Well, you can't have food in court either. We're in court right now. We're not on a recess. We're not at lunch. Put it back in your briefcase.
The judge really don't like people eating in the courtroom, nothing.
How about if you ask Mr. Sledge specifically on the stand? You said the only people you remembered were blah, blah. You know, didn't y'all discuss the fact that he was also there or something to that effect? And then if he says no, then you confront him with this prior inconsistent statement, which he needs to listen to first without the jury hearing. And then he can say, oh yeah, actually I did.
This has happened several times where they try to get shit in as a prior inconsistent statement, but they haven't even asked him about it yet specifically to get it in as an inconsistent statement.
Lord have mercy. We heard Kenneth Copeland say, I told 100 different versions of things. Telling somebody something doesn't mean you're telling on them or you're ratting them out or anything. And I know the state want it to be that, but you don't necessarily get that from...
Miss Love getting a reality check on snitching here, boys. Not everything someone says is the truth.
Mr. Sledge was at a prelim.
I know, which is why I'm saying she can't get into that part.
But it's not the prelim itself. It's also clear that he got this information from the officer testifying at a prelim.
Right, which is not inconsistent with him saying, nobody talked to me about what they said to the police. I said that yesterday.
Okay, I got you.
I got you too. I mean, I understand what the issues are.
Oh my God. It's not an inconsistent statement then.
It's deep, man, because they said, Shannon got to say, though. Shannon's lawyer, like, yeah. So Shannon's lawyer, like, how could a person that they saying is buying guns from the YSL make a statement on? See, they were trying to hide his name, but he said that, and that's how I know it.
So he found out all this information through a preliminary hearing from lawyers and the police officers in there.
Because he said, I have no idea what any of my phone numbers were, and you need to establish that this phone number is clearly his phone number because he's the one sending it.
Yes.
I mean, I understand that. They're establishing his phone number.
We have not reviewed the edited version, so we
All right, well, I'm going to assume that what Ms. Love says is in there and out is what's in there and what's out. So let's just take her at her word as an officer of the court. And
taking Miss Love's word, oh boy. I'm sure something's going to be played that's not supposed to be played. All right, Antonio Sledge back up on the stand, even though they said it was going to take 3 hours. And now we're on hour, this should be hour 17 here starting.
Is this a post that was on your Instagram page?
Yes.
Does this post refresh your memory about what your phone number was?
Yeah, it looked like something I wrote.
Does it look like a fair and accurate copy of what you wrote and posted on your Instagram? And was that your phone number?
I guess. I don't remember, but I see it on the photo. It said I gave it to somebody.
Do you recall talking to your child's mother on November 19th, 2015 at 8:03 p.m.?
I don't remember the date, though. I talk to her almost every day, so I don't remember the exact date.
So there's been a little bit of a break here suddenly. Probably a dispute over evidence being shown.
Again, we're backdooring the fact that D said something to the police that's problematic. If Mr. Zachary takes a stand, I will deal with it. And I will cross-examine him, and it won't be a problem anymore. I don't want there to be any insinuations, any reference to D telling on people until he takes the stand.
I mean, this is just confrontation clause, yeah, like...
And so I don't know why we have to get into what Lil D told them folks to get the fact that he was at a condo.
I heard that he said these things, and we know it's him because of exactly what he's saying. So we don't need the witness one part for that, so...
The whole point of this is just, was Mr. Zachary at the condo that night or not? And I really don't care what the answer is. What I don't want is a bunch of references to what was said at a prelim, and D is telling these folks this and that.
Nobody's going to know who them folks is from this.
Well, them folks is
them folks could be anybody.
Them
folks could be anybody.
Respectfully, Your Honor, them folks in the street is police. That's slang for the police, and I believe the jurors are going to be able to put that.
Well, I don't know whether they will or not, but that's what he said.
Do you have any more memory about who all was at Mr. Williams' condo, or with whom you might have met at the condo after Donovan Thomas was killed?
Yes, I think.
Do you remember whether Quindaria Zachary was there?
I think Quindaria Zachary was there.
Shannon Stillwell was there.
I still don't remember if Shannon Stillwell was there because I didn't see him personally with my eyes, so I still don't remember if he was there or not.
Do you remember whether Diamante Kendrick was there?
No, I think Mr. Kendrick was not there when I got there.
And Kenneth Copeland, was he also one of the persons that met up with you, Shannon Stillwell, Diamante Kendrick, Quindaria Zachary, and Defendant Williams at Defendant Williams' condo?
Yes, he was there.
Is it still your testimony that you went to Defendant Williams' condo solely because you got a DM accusing you of Donovan Thomas's murder?
Yes, that's one of the reasons. That's the reason, yes.
Was there any other reason?
I don't remember.
Do you remember what the conversation was?
I just know the conversation with me and Kenneth Copeland was the one responsible for it.
Was there anything said by anybody else that you remember?
Not really. I just remember Mr. Williams telling me that we ain't had nothing to do with it. Go down now.
Who is the we?
Me and Kenneth Copeland.
Do you know how it is that Mr. Williams is able to tell you that you all don't have anything to do with it?
He wasn't directly like trying to tell us what to do. He just was basically saying, don't go to the show and go down there and clear our name.
After you dropped Mr. Copeland off, did you ever go back to the condo
that night?
We talked about this yesterday, Miss Love. I told you I went to the hotel room.
Did you speak with Mr. Williams at any time that he was purportedly in Miami?
I think he called and checked on me. I'm not for sure. I don't remember that.
Have you, Mr. Sledge, ever had any reason to charge money at a door for a light bill?
What are we talking about light bills right now for? He's talking about like the YSL house where they like pull together money or something?
I don't recall. I don't remember, Miss Love, but...
Alright boys, this video is sponsored by Manscaped.com, the global men's lifestyle brand that is revolutionizing men's grooming. It's safe to say when you got the confidence of 10 million men worldwide, that Manscaped has mastered the art of superior men's grooming and hygiene tools. The Perfect Package 5.0 Ultra is the best bundle you could possibly get, starting with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra Electric Trimmer. The trimmer now has dual skin-safe blade heads, with the upgraded trimmer blade and the interchangeable foil blade for enhanced performance. The upgraded trimmer blade features longer, wider, and rounded teeth that cut through hairs with ease. The foil blade is crafted to transcend the boundaries of your typical trim achieved with the trimmer blade. This foil blade is designed to leave you with a finish that's irresistibly slick and utterly bare. Start your trimming session using the trimmer blade, then easily pop it off and attach the foil blade to get down to the skin level. It's like you're getting your hands on 2 trimmers for the price of 1. It has a light on it so you can use it in the shower if you want to because it's also waterproof. The Perfect Package also comes with the Crop Soother and Crop Preserver, which will have your balls smelling real nice. It comes with 2 free gifts, one being a travel bag. Of course, I've used it already. That's why it looks like that. And then the greatest boxer briefs on earth. It feels like you're wearing a cloud. Go to manscaped.com and get your hands on a Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra and get 20% off with my code CUFF, plus free international shipping and plus 1 free gift. Yes, you heard me correctly. 20% off, free shipping, and a free gift. All you gotta do is use my code CUFF right now at manscaped.com. Thank you, Manscaped, for sponsoring this video. Here we go, boys.
I know if you came to my house and stayed for weeks and months, eventually I want some money from you staying there.
Did you have a nickname for that house?
No, I didn't have a nickname for no house.
To your knowledge, did anyone ever call that house the Web?
So I was right. It's about the web, or where apparently they, you know, it was like their trap house, I think.
I never been there when they called it the Web.
Do you know of a place called the Web?
I heard of it.
So they're playing when he accepted his plea deal, I guess to contradict that he didn't know what he was signing and all that shit he's been saying, you know what I mean? I still really think he didn't understand a lot of it and he was just signing to get out of jail, like straight up, because apparently his mom was sick and shit.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sledge. Good afternoon, Good afternoon, counsels.
I think he's facing like 30 years in prison or something, so he gonna sign something that gets him out of jail. Oh, that's Judge Glanville, ew.
Mr. Sledge, can I get you to raise your right hand as best you're able?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give in the matter now in hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so be God so firm? Yes, I do. I can put your hand down, sir.
Mr. Sledge, please state your true, correct, and legal name.
Antonio Sledge.
And are you the same Antonio Sledge, also known as Mounk Tounk, who is listed in indictment 22-SC-183572?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you at this time taking or under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or medication?
No, ma'am.
Is there any medication that you normally take that you have not been given today?
No, ma'am.
How old are you and how far have you gone in school?
I'm 41.
Do you understand that you are charged with the following offenses?
Yes, ma'am.
Conspiracy to violate the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act,
Yes, ma'am.
as well as possession of a firearm by a convicted felon,
Yes,
as
ma'am.
listed in count 30 of this indictment.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the state's done on direct. Now we're on the cross with Max Schardt on the right.
I'm going to be asking you some questions about that document.
Oh boy, he's gonna go straight into the plea agreement.
Initialed that document. Is that correct?
Yes.
Initialed the factual acknowledgments within the document. Correct?
Yes.
All right. And Judge Glanville denied bond. Correct?
Yes.
So on December 28th, 2022, you had been locked up for 7 months and 1 day, and you did not have a bond.
Objection, asked, answered, and compound.
Sustained.
Hinting that he wanted to get out of jail. He didn't have a bond.
Locked up. We're saying locked up. Where were you living? Where were you held?
At the Forest County Rice Street.
Okay. That's Fulton County Jail?
Yeah, jail.
Generally speaking, is that a nice place to be?
Objection, relevant.
Overruled.
No.
Is that a dangerous place?
Yes.
Is that a filthy place?
Yes.
On December 28th, 2022, there were some things going on in your life, correct?
Yes.
Now, you've already shared with us that your mother was ill.
Yes.
Certainly, on that date, you wanted to get home to your ill mother. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
You are also a father, right, Mr. Sledge?
Yes.
You have 8 children, is that correct?
Yes.
Holy shit. Holy shit. Bro's gotta learn how to pull out. The thought of one child terrifies me.
Derek Wright is your attorney,
Yes.
and he's represented you in the past,
Yes.
and you hired him on this case.
Yes.
The money that you paid your attorney, you knew it wasn't enough for him to go to trial on this long case, correct?
Yes.
That was your understanding.
Yes.
That was his understanding.
Yes.
You did not have an attorney to take this case to trial.
All right, no. Now, we all know that that's not true. That anybody who can't afford an attorney is entitled to get an
Well,
attorney
I'm gonna
without
get
cost to them.
I'm going to get there. There were people in this case that couldn't afford an attorney, correct?
Objection, Your Honor, speculation, relevant.
People still don't
Hey,
have
hang on. Don't talk over each other. That is not relevant to the question that you're asking him, nor to this trial going on right now.
He's trying to get the point out that there's defendants right now that still don't have a lawyer, a public defender.
Let's break for lunch, because I know that this is going to take more than 30 minutes for you to do your cross. So let's just break for lunch right now.
We were just getting things heated up. He's smiling, walking out. Bro is really built funny as shit.
The reality is, people were severed off this case because our public defender system did not provide people attorneys. People were sitting in jail for up to 2 years. I'm not even sure everyone has an attorney to this date. These gentlemen that are not sitting here, that are sitting in 901 Rice Street 2 years later, I don't even know if they have attorneys now, but I do know when we started this trial, people were severed because the public defender's system had not provided attorneys. Mr. Sledge knew that. Mr. Sledge, and this is the reality, and I don't think we should hide it from the jurors. The reality is Mr. Sledge had two options. Plead guilty or wait for an appointed attorney to try this case, and he would have been sitting in jail, and he'd still be in jail today.
All right, all of those cases are ready to be tried right now. Everybody who's been severed out other than for that reason is ready.
There were some of those individuals who could not afford attorneys, correct?
Right.
And you were aware that some of those individuals were in Rice Street.
Yes.
Or they were in Rice Street.
Yes.
And those individuals that could not afford attorneys had not been appointed attorneys as of December 28, 2022, correct?
Yes.
You did not want to be in their position.
Yes.
Meaning you did not want to be in Rice Street without an attorney.
Yes.
Did that put pressure on you to accept this deal?
Yes, a lot.
Being separated from your sick mother and your children.
This is my question.
Your Honor, he testified for 3 days already. I've been going for 10 minutes.
Yeah, but you did already ask him that.
And this is what Miss Love does. She objects to anything and everything. We're 10 minutes into cross and she's already being a thorn in the side when she just took 3 days on direct.
The fact that you had not hired an attorney for trial, did that create pressure on you to plead guilty?
Object. That is in fact 9 minutes. And it also calls for
Probation would get you back to your family.
Yes.
Do you know who wrote the factual acknowledgments?
No.
Who presented the factual acknowledgments to you? Was it Miss Love?
Yes.
Okay. Did you know Miss Love back in 2015?
No.
Was she hanging out with you in 2015?
No.
Not trying to embarrass you. You're a smart man, okay?
Right.
But you did indicate that you didn't know what the word notoriety means.
Yes.
And you've also just said you didn't know what the word coercion means.
Yes.
Okay. Factual acknowledgement 1. On the last line, does it have the word notoriety?
Yes.
Want to look at factual acknowledgement 5 on the last line. Does it say notoriety?
Yes.
Does it say coercion?
Yes.
And those are words, to this day, I guess before this trial maybe, that you never knew the meaning of.
Still don't know the meaning of it.
Okay.
Is he being truthful? Like you don't know what that means? Either way, he's saying it.
Some of the acknowledgments that you did not agree with, the state refused to change, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you wanted to go home.
Yes.
Your disagreement with the factual acknowledgments stopped you from entering that plea.
No.
Why not?
Because I wanted to go home to my sick mother.
So either way, he was like, fuck it, I'm signing whatever. That's what he's saying.
Who was reading those acknowledgments? Was it you or Miss Love?
Miss Love.
Okay. When you were saying yes, ma'am, do you remember that?
Yes.
Pretty much every question, is that fair?
Yes.
Weren't there times during that plea, during that video, where you were saying yes, ma'am, before Miss Love even asked the question?
Yes.
You know some of these things in this plea agreement aren't true, correct?
Yes.
The hard place is you don't want to go back to prison, do you?
Yes.
Yes, you do not want to go
I
back.
don't want to go back to prison.
The state was going to recommend 15 years of probation.
Yes.
And that meant that you would get out of jail immediately.
Yes.
His probation for this sentence may be revoked in its entirety, and the district attorney will recommend that defendant serve any remaining portion of this sentence in confinement at the Georgia Department of Corrections, and in parentheses it says prison. Is that accurate?
Yes.
A condition of your plea is to testify consistently with the factual acknowledgments
Yes.
that you say are not true.
Yes.
And according to this agreement, if you fail to testify consistently with those acknowledgments, the state can move to revoke your probation, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm worried about his shit getting f***ed and revoking it. And then bro serves some jail time, like for real. Because he has not been very cooperative for someone that took a plea.
Will dismiss that case.
Yes.
Even though you've already pled guilty to it, the state will go back, let you withdraw your guilty plea, and dismiss the case.
Yes.
You've been in trouble before, right?
Yes.
Okay, you ever have an agreement, a situation like this in any of your other cases?
That is very weird.
Defendant fails or refuses to testify to any fact that he acknowledges in his plea agreement. Such failure or refusal nullifies. Do you know what nullifies means?
No.
Okay. It says nullifies though, right?
Yes, it say that, but I don't know what it means.
Nullifies any promise made by the district attorney to null pros count 30 of this indictment, right?
Yes.
And to your understanding, regardless of whether you know what nullifies means, if you don't testify consistently with the factual acknowledgments that the state wrote, they will take back their promise to dismiss count 30 and you'll be sentenced.
Yes.
And you have to get 15 years in prison.
Yes.
Defendant understands fully that any violation or of any provision or any special condition of the plea agreement shall result in defendant being sentenced on count 30 of this indictment, and the district attorney will recommend that the defendant serve the maximum sentence allowed by law.
Yes.
Back in 2015, was there a young lady that you were involved with?
Yes.
What was that young lady's name?
Trivia Smith.
Oh boy, bringing up the love triangle with Shell Cow and this girl. Imagine finding out a rival gang member and you are sharing the same girlfriend.
And what did you call her?
Treva.
Look at this love triangle right here.
That's Kale.
Kelvin Watts?
Yes.
Would you call your girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. When did you start dating, we'll say, Miss Smith?
I've been on it since I've been dating since probably like 2009. But as the relationship, probably like 2013.
Oh, this said him dirty. They were together for years on and off.
Okay, so by 2015, you'd been in a relationship with her for at least 2 years, maybe longer.
Yes.
And you've known her for 8 years at that point.
Yes.
9 years.
Yes.
At some point, did she start dating another man?
From my understanding, yes.
Okay, and who was that other man?
Kevin Watt.
And do you know, was she dating, and I'm not trying to embarrass you, was she dating you first or Kelvin Watts first?
Me.
Did that create problems between you and Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Did that lead to an internet back and forth between you and Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Mr. Watts was looking for you.
Yes.
And was all that revolving around your rivalry over Entrevia Smith?
Yes.
Remember when the state played a video of you and Mr. Zachary with guns?
Yes.
Okay. You said it was childish, right?
Yes.
So the video of him with guns, basically threatening Shell Cow, is about a love triangle. He's trying to hint that it wasn't about YSL.
We ain't really gonna pull that nigga. You little bitch ass. I don't care. Yeah, you nigga care. Whoever else, nigga, well, nigga. They said I ain't going back.
Back in 2015, were you a little bit emotional about the situation?
Yes.
Did you ever hear anyone say YSL?
No.
Did you ever hear anyone say gang?
No.
Did you hear anyone say on behalf of?
No.
Okay. Did anyone tell you to make that video?
No.
That was your decision.
Yes.
And you made that video because you were mad at Kelvin Watts because he was running his mouth.
Yes.
Because y'all were dating the same woman.
Yes.
Completely contradicting his plea agreement right there. So I'd be sketched out if I was him, dude.
Talking junk to Kelvin Watts, did any of that video have to do anything with supporting and expressing loyalty to YSL?
No.
And then later on in Factual Acknowledgement 3, it says, and wherein, on behalf of YSL. Was there anything about that video that was done on behalf of YSL?
No.
Jeffrey Williams didn't instruct you to go drive to any houses at night?
No, Jeffrey Williams know nothing about it.
Okay.
Objection as to speculation about what someone else knew.
Sustained.
Okay, you don't know what Jeffrey Williams knew on any given night, but he didn't order you to go to any house.
No. No.
Going through all the bull Mounk Tounk did with the boys, shooting up people and shit, shooting up houses, separating the state's theory that it was YSL big gang thing, when it was really just boys going around having a personal beef, apparently.
Of Danikion Garlington, who got jumped in the club,
Yes.
was done on behalf of Quindarius Zachary, whose girlfriend was getting shot at.
Yes.
It was not done on behalf of YSL.
No.
It was not done to increase the notoriety, reputation, or fear of YSL, was it?
No.
I mean, he's violating his plea agreement, like straight up. This is a hard watch.
You've been a drug dealer before in your life, right?
Yes.
Okay, when you say you would pull up and kick it and then leave, is it fair to say that you were not part of some complex distribution network in these gas stations?
No.
Violating his plea agreement even more about the part. It says in that they were doing it in furtherance of YSL, blah, blah, blah.
Your two friends would sell drugs at those gas stations.
Yes.
They sell other places too, right?
Yes.
Tell me about the time that you and Christian McMiller and Darius Ford pulled out AK-47s and chased everyone out of the parking lot to protect her.
Never.
That's funny as shit. Yesterday, she asked him about them protecting their drug territory for like, I think 45 minutes.
Two people selling weed at a gas station before.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back to your factual acknowledgement that you signed on December 28, 2022. The gas station at 151 Cleveland Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia, is one of multiple locations where YSL associates sell drugs and do not allow other gangs to operate. Okay? Now, it is true that in your mind, Darius Ford and Christian McMiller were YSL associates in your mind.
Yes.
And they would sell drugs at these two gas stations, 151 Cleveland Avenue and 221 Cleveland Avenue, and a bunch of other places, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You haven't seen anyone do anything that would lead you to believe that they did not allow other gangs to operate in those gas stations, did you?
No.
No violence,
No.
no attacks,
No.
Miss Love shaking her head. She's pissed.
it had something to do with YSL. That was incorrect.
Yes.
Factual acknowledgement that the shootings on April 28th, 2015 were done on behalf of YSL. That was incorrect.
Yes.
The factual acknowledgements that YSL or YSL associates do not allow other gangs to operate at these two gas stations, those were incorrect.
Yes.
Money that you would make selling little $5, $10 bags, whatever, of marijuana, would you run to Jeffrey Williams and give him those $5 bills, $10 bills?
Never.
Okay, would you run to Shannon Stillwell and give him the $5 and $10 bills?
Never.
I mean, this is all great for the defense, but I'm scared this guy's going to prison.
And the state opposed your bond, right?
Yes.
They said that you were a danger to the community.
Yes.
They said you were a threat,
Yes.
and you were denied bond.
Yes.
That kept you away from your family.
Yes.
I freely, knowingly, and voluntarily entered into this agreement without force, threat, or coercion. And we already said you didn't know what coercion meant.
Yes.
Let's just say pressure. That's not true, is it? You were pressured.
Yes, I was pressured.
In fact, you were pressured into signing a document that claims that you're entering the agreement without pressure.
Yes.
I mean, this is just Schardt dismantling the last 2 days of the state's direct right here, boys. That's what this is.
They gave you probation, right?
Yes.
And then something came up.
And
Because
I'm sorry. I know that the objection needs to be at the same time, but as I thought about it, that was hearsay as well. What the state told him about his dangerousness or whatever, being too dangerous
I'm not saying
to let
it's
go.
dangerous.
Literally, the question was, did the state say that you were too dangerous to let go? That's hearsay. There's no, that's hearsay.
it's not for the truth of the matter.
Overruled.
All of a sudden, on December 28th, after you initialed these statements, the state recommended a signature bond. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
A signature bond means you get released and you don't even have to pay any bond at all, right?
Yes.
Have you ever been able to figure out what made you so dangerous before December 28th?
Sustained.
As soon as he signed that plea agreement, they let him out, even though he was so dangerous when he was trying to get bond. Brian Steele up for cross.
Sunday, 2024. Yeah. Do you remember being located at a Starbucks in Fayetteville, Georgia?
Yes.
And the gentleman who was seated in the first row here, the nice-looking young man, in the who's now smiling. Can you tell, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry, who that person is to you?
My attorney?
To put us on a Zoom call at my request. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you told me, as well as your lawyer, that you met earlier that day with Prosecutor Love.
Yes.
When you told District Attorney Love that you were with Donovan Thomas and Jeffrey, did you make it known that everyone was having a good time?
Yes.
Did you see any type of argument or spat or anger from Jeffrey towards Mr. Thomas?
No.
Did you see any anger or spat or argument from Mr. Thomas towards Jeffrey?
No.
In fact, you observed they were friendly, right?
Yes.
You knew they were good friends, right?
Yes.
You knew that Jeffrey really cared for Donovan Thomas. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, as to this witness's ability to know. That would be speculation.
You can ask something foundational.
Did you see District Attorney Love make any notes when you told her that?
No.
I noticed she didn't ask you about that. Do you remember her asking? Maybe I missed it. Did she ask you about that when her 3 days of questioning you?
No.
Kenneth Copeland was receiving calls or received a call from the police saying that he was a suspect in this murder shooting of Donovan Thomas. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Where Mr. Copeland was asking, what do I do? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And Jeffrey said to Mr. Copeland, if you had nothing to do with the killing, you should go and talk to the police. And you told District Attorney Love that, right?
Yes.
In front of the Honorable Derek Wright, your lawyer.
Yes.
And do you remember District Attorney Love telling you that she would prefer, if you don't state to the jury, that Jeffrey told you to take Mr. Copeland to the police department if he was not involved in the murder?
Yes.
She's shaking her head no, like that didn't happen. But, okay, who's lying then?
Did you ask why?
No, I never asked why.
That you were very close with Donovan Thomas.
Yes.
In fact, your relative, I think cousin, but tell the jurors if I'm wrong, dated Donovan Thomas's relative.
Yes.
And Donovan Thomas is close with your mother.
Yes.
And you told District Attorney Love that.
Yes.
Do you remember Jeffrey being upset?
Yes.
Your Honor, I object. That calls for speculation
Okay.
about Mr. Williams.
So you're not talking about that evening, are you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm talking about the morning hours of January 11, 2015.
All
The
right.
gentleman.
We might need to check this up outside the presence of the jury.
Well, I'll come back to it then.
All right.
What did Jeffrey benefit
Objection
from
calls for speculation.
any type,
Objection.
Let me hear the question. All right. Don't answer the question yet, okay? What's the question?
from your personal knowledge, when you sign this, tell the jury what Jeffrey benefited
That's outside the witness's knowledge.
from his personal observation. It's his acknowledgement that the state introduced.
That actually did not introduce these parts.
They read this.
They did. Rephrase your question.
Prosecutor Love ever asked you to tell us what Jeffrey Williams did?
No.
At that point in time, you wanted to go home, right?
Yes.
You would have answered all questions.
Objection
Right.
1 calls for speculation.
So each defense lawyer is just going through this plea and dismantling everything that he signed, dude. This is not good for Mr. Sledge here, boys.
Are people from all over America and throughout the world having tattoos of YSL,
I seen a couple of fans. Yes.
wearing shirts of YSL,
Yes.
hats,
Yes.
tattoos of Jeffrey on their person,
Yes.
and wherein on behalf of YSL, you threatened to harm a person named Kel, a rival gang member, who had begun a relationship with your ex-paramour or girlfriend. You see that?
Yes.
Were you asked any questions about what Jeffrey knew about that?
No.
He knew nothing to your knowledge, right?
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
Sustained.
On your personal knowledge,
Objection, it's your call.
did you ever speak with the prosecution? Did they ever want to know what did Jeffrey Williams know about that?
Objection 1, that calls for speculation. 2, I can approach, Your Honor, because that.
Okay. I mean, that one does not call for speculation. Maybe you have some other issue.
I don't need
Yes,
to
I'll
approach
go
Your
ahead.
Honor. I'm
I
going
need
to
to
continue.
approach, Your Honor, because I have an objection that I need to put on the record.
Okay.
Based on
I would
that
rather not
single
stop
question.
because that's all Miss Love does. I'd rather continue. I'll waive that.
Well, we're going to approach.
Steele is not playing games. He said, I'd rather not stop. That's all Miss Love does, which it is. She just interrupts so much more than what the defense does. It's so frustrating.
We're told by another YSL associate that immediately after the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr., YSL associates met at the McDonald's on Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia to discuss the murder, right?
Yes.
Anyone ever asked you any evidence that Jeffrey was at the McDonald's?
Objection, improper question. As to evidence, did anyone ever ask?
Sustained.
Did Miss Love, on December 28th of 2022, ask you, was Jeffrey at the McDonald's?
Objection, again, 1, relevance. The jury has heard and seen what was asked, and it's not relevant, and an improper question.
Oh, that's a rule.
Well, what you were told is reference to number 7 was Jeffrey at this McDonald's.
No.
You personally know that one or more YSL associates committed the murder of Donovan Thomas on behalf of Jeffrey. That's what you signed, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any personal knowledge that Jeffrey Williams committed the murder of Donovan Thomas Jr.?
No.
In any fashion?
No.
You know what a party to a crime is? You know what that means?
Overruled.
Yes.
Was Jeffrey, do you have any information?
I mean, I'm sorry, sustained. Sorry. You may not ask that question. It just feels like yes. Sorry, my bad.
He said overruled.
Sorry.
Young thug who gave you and other YSL associates cash money to lay low. You see that?
Yes.
You already told the jury, you made it clear that Jeffrey did give you $300. True?
Yes.
Because you feared for the safety of yourself and your family, right?
Yes.
Did anybody fire weapons, bullets into your home where you were living on June 10, 2015, or the 11th, or the 12th, or the 13th?
No.
In order to increase notoriety and reputation of YSL, murder, armed robbery, aggravated assault, attempted murder, theft, illegal gun possession, and illegal drug sales. Did you ever ask anything about Jeffrey on December 28, 2022 when you entered this plea?
No.
Now, to your knowledge, Jeffrey would give other job opportunities to other people too, right?
Yes. Yes.
So instead of giving money, you knew Jeffrey had money by 2014, right?
Yes.
He was flying on planes, right?
Yes.
He had cars, right?
Yes.
He had places to live.
Yes.
He had multiple places to live.
Yes.
He had jewelry.
I mean, I think you made your point, so just move on to the next question.
But instead of giving just cash to people, he gave people opportunity to earn that money, right?
Yes.
Do you have any evidence to tell this jury that Jeffrey ever told you or anyone else to harm another person?
No.
To your knowledge, and I am not including drug use, and I am not including gambling, but to your knowledge, did Jeffrey ever encouraged?
Apparently we need to take a restroom break, so let's break for a few minutes.
Now we got videos of people wiping their nose.
Did you note the two basketball players in that screenshot?
Yes.
And do you know them to be professional players?
Yes.
And were they doing something similar to what you were asked to show the jurors?
Yes.
Rod Wave?
Do you know who that person is?
Broadway.
And who is Mr. Wave?
He's a rapper. I understand.
The little white girl behind him did it, bro.
Look at the young lady right behind her. Right there.
Oh, yeah, I see. I don't know.
And is that similar to what you showed the jurors?
Yes.
Debo Samuel? Who would have thought this would be a trial right now, bro?
Why is slime significant to YSL?
But you,
Is it evil?
no.
And the wiping of the nose, is that evil?
No. Lie to the kids. You lie to your mama. But you get in the courtroom and in the investigation room and tell them punk ass people the God honest mother truth.
You told the district attorney when questioning that this is not a new statement. You remember something like that?
Yes.
And had you heard this before from growing up? From where?
Growing up, I have heard it before though.
Okay. Have you seen it and listened to it or read it on the internet?
I think I have seen it on the internet.
So this date is from January 4, 2015. So this is before Donovan Thomas was murdered. The state, I think, has been saying it's been after.
So nigga, a lot of their mama, a lot of their kids, a lot of their brothers and sisters, they didn't get ready in the courtroom and tell God and the truth. Don't get it. Y'all didn't get killed, bro.
Did you hear your voice?
Yes.
The voice of Mr. Jeffrey Williams and the face of Mr. Jeffrey Williams?
Yes.
Did you hear the voice of Mr. McMillan?
Yes.
Did you hear the voice of Mr. Martinez, also known as Duke?
Yes.
Is it the same exact video that was played earlier as the repost?
Yes.
And on January 4, 2015, what was Jeffrey Williams' relationship like with Donovan Thomas from your personal observation?
Objection made.
Overruled.
They had a great relationship.
And does this video on January 4, 2015 have anything to do, from your own personal knowledge from being in it, about Donovan Thomas or threatening some witness or anything?
No.
Objection. One is compound, so I don't know which part of that he's asking.
This is definitely not a good look for the state to get the dates wrong.
So the indictment, and if you don't remember, we'll show it to you. No one's trying to keep anything from you. Says that this was done 16 days after the killing of Mr. Williams, that it was reposted. But this was made
So the indictment is wrong. That's kind of crazy.
6 days before, God forbid, the killing of Mr. Thomas, right?
Yes.
Has Jeffrey ever paid for your lawyer fees?
No.
Has he ever paid for your bond?
No.
I mean, Steele's just doing a good job here separating Thug from a lot of the state's theory.
To say that, a prosecutor or any lawyer or anybody told someone don't say something in front of the jury.
Yeah.
But, I cleared that with Mr. Wright. And I want the court to note that the state never put us on notice. It's not Brady because with due diligence, I found out about it. So I'm not saying it's a violation of Brady. It's just not the way it believed. It's not the way that I was understand that lawyers conduct themselves. So I'm sure that I wasn't there. I'm sure that Miss Love will say whatever she says, or maybe say that didn't happen. But
During a meeting, she apparently told Mounk Tounk not to say certain things.
Or maybe it didn't happen in quite that way, but I don't know if Ms. Love wants to say anything.
I just want you to know that I cleared it with Mr. Wright beforehand.
Mr. Wright is Mounk Tounk's lawyer who was present.
Ask that question, that he has no recollection of that ever being stated by me to
Mr. Sledge.
But I'll let Mr. Wright speak for Mr. Wright. And I know that I would not say that. So whatever Mr. Sledge said, Mr. Sledge said. I don't know how the question was posed. I don't, that's all right. It'll happen on redirect and flesh it out. But this notion about all of that, you know, Mr. Sledge can ask whatever questions he wants to ask. Mr. Sledge can answer however he feels he needs to. I'll handle that on redirect. Yes, sure.
Ms. Love placed the lawyer under subpoena and wants him to come in and clarify what she said. All right, that's pretty much it for day 124. Defense lawyers did a pretty good job today. I mean, they got accomplished a lot. I'm worried about Mounk Tounk though. He might be going back to prison. Love you guys. Peace out.